Hello, everyone. My name is Reeta Wolfsohn. I am the founder of the Financial Social Work Discipline and the Center for Financial Social Work. I'm very happy to be with you today. I'm really excited about the 6 steps to a debt-free, stress-free holiday season. Obviously, all of you on the call and attending the session and having registered for it, you see the benefit and the value to creating a debt-free, stress-free holiday season, and we've now been able to take this one step further, well, actually several steps further, to provide you with additional tools. So there's lots of wonderful information for you in the webinar, and then we have complementary components to keep you focused and on track for success. So let me give you a broad overview of the webinar. I will begin with a brief overview of financial social work for all the new people who have never attended one of our webinars before. Then I will identify the 6 steps that I have for you. We'll go through, explore each of the individual steps. This will incorporate audience participation. I have several interactive polls that I hope you'll join in with. And I hope that you will share other answers it's called a question box, but lots of times I like to think of it as an answer box because it gives our audience an opportunity to share additional ideas and thoughts that you're having during the session. Creating polls is interesting. It's fun. It's a great way to get you involved. And I know when I take webinars myself, I like to be involved in some way. But when you only have 5 choices, it doesn't always cover all the options. So anyone who wants to share things with us can do so in the question box. So I'll share the details on how financial social work plans to continue to educate, motivate, and support you in this goal of having a debt-free, stress-free holiday. I will answer your questions. I will stay with you as long as you want to stay with me to get them all answered. And because I've been asked numerous times in past webinars, because I haven't done it, I will, at the conclusion of the session, explain briefly what the financial social work certification is, so that everyone is aware of that. So at its core, this is the overview of financial social work for those of you new to us. At its core, financial social work is very much about personal, professional, financial, and social change. It is a behavioral model. It's very interactive, introspective, helping, just as you will see as you go through this webinar, and with the new tools, the workbook and the other things I'll be explaining to you that you'll be able to download because you attended, it will help you to take greater responsibility for your financial future. In this case, starting immediately by, not creating debt, more debt, any debt for the holidays. And so that requires, change is a process, and it requires personal, individual, and emotional choice. And this is actually, choice is a very important piece of step number 1 that you're about to learn. So financial stability is a very personal, individual, and emotional choice. And it's one that we make regularly, weekly, monthly, daily, sometimes minute by minute and hour to hour, which is why I have this comprehensive approach for you today. And so financial social work helps people to make that choice, to have a better personal and financial future, because regardless of all the work you might do personally, unless you have control of your money, you're never going to feel in control of your life. And so the financial social work model is ongoing education, motivation, and support. And through our website, we do all of those things. We use social media, we use Facebook, we use Twitter, we do a twice-a-month newsletter, and you will see how we've woven this ongoing process into this goal of a debt-free, stress-free holiday. And so for me, this is what financial social work looks like. It's about self, it's about success, it's about setting healthy financial boundaries and personal boundaries, knowing where you're going, what you want, what you need. And those of you who have joined us before know that this is my favorite graphic. It's the idea of being at peace with your money. And this is kind of the bottom line of what I think we all need to understand when it comes to taking control of our money in our lives. It is our relationship with our money. And you need to sit with that for a second, because we do have a relationship with our money. And if we don't know what that is, and we don't know what it's made up of, it's probably not going to be the healthiest of relationships. So it's our relationship with our money that drives our financial behavior. And ultimately, it's our financial behavior that determines our financial circumstances at any given time. So financial social work strives to change the conversation about money, to provide a different way of thinking about money, a better way of working with clients around financial problems, and of course working with our own financial problems. Okay, skip that a little quickly. So as we begin, just some housekeeping things. You'll see in the upper right hand corner you have this little communications box. Obviously, with hundreds of people on the call, everyone is muted, but you do have that question box where you can share your thoughts and ideas and ask questions, of course. So let's get started. So this webinar isn't about providing you with coupons or coupon sites, telling you where to get the best bargains. It's about a whole lot more. It's about this system we've created for how you can create a debt-free, stress-free holiday season. It encompasses this webinar and the free workbook we have for you. It is a 15-page workbook, and you'll be able to reproduce copies if you're working with clients. And it supports all of the steps that you'll be learning today, the 6 steps. So I thought we would begin with a poll, and I will put that up now so we can get a sense of who's in our audience. So let me launch that. And as I explained before, with only 5 choices, I know that there's probably others of you joining us today who don't fall into any of those categories. So if you would like to go into that question box and share with me the work that you're doing, we can share that with everyone else in the audience. Okay, over 50% of you have taken the poll, and we're growing, over 60. Wow. Hi, Rebecca. We have a social worker from Copenhagen with us. We have a gambling counselor, an individual consumer, and you are welcome. We have a financial planner. Wow, we do have, I wasn't sure if I should do this poll. I was curious. I love knowing who's in the audience. I'm going to close it, and I'll show you what we came up with, but then I'm going to share some of the things that came in. We have a gambling counseling intern, a transitional housing director. We have some more individual consumers. Welcome to you. Case managers, financial counselor, education. We have an extension educator, someone from AFC, social work therapist, FINRA, fellow for financial counseling. Oh boy, someone from the military. That's a great place that I love this work to be. Adult services from the Department of Social Services, loan servicing specialist. Okay, I guess if I keep reading all of these, I'm not going to get to the webinar. Community educator, home ownership counselor. Well, welcome to all of you. I'm so glad you're here. And I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So at first, I will share a little bit of this process with you. At first, I thought, well, okay, I'm going to start with the debt-free part. Uh, but ultimately, of course, the debt-free part is also the stress-free part, because we know that money is the #1 stressor in people's lives, and it causes so many financial challenges, and it leads to depression and anxiety and all kinds of other emotional problems. So this is all about the debt-free and the stress-free part. And so here we go. 6 steps. Obviously, I could have made it 8 or 10, but I wanted to make it a manageable process for everyone, and I'm looking forward to building it out over the years. Here are your first 6 steps. Make the choice and the commitment. Create your spending plan and log. Develop holiday spending policies and procedures. Be informed. Embrace motivation and support. And assess, update, and reinforce daily. Okay, so let's get started with them individually. Choice. I talked a little bit about choice in my financial social work overview. The first step to change is to make that choice. It's a big choice. It's an important choice. And it's a life-changing choice. And making the choice is complemented by commitment. Commitment is about the most important tool we have. And so the workbook will share. Okay, so that's about, all right, let's go with life choices, because every choice affects the future. And so we know from the work we do and the lives we live that we make choices every minute of the day, mostly or often without thinking about them, you know, what to wear. Obviously, we'll think about what to wear, but that's not the same kind of choice as having to determine how much to spend, or whether on an item, or whether to eat out or bring lunch. But we are the sum total of our choices, and making the right choice involves knowing that having a more secure financial future begins with making better, if more difficult, choices today. When we hear or say, or have a client say that we have no choices, it isn't because we don't have choices. We all have choices. It's that the choices we have aren't the choices we want. So if we want to be in a better place, it all begins with making better and healthier choices starting today. And so we know that debt and stress are negative forces, and they limit every area of our lives and reduce the opportunities available to us and seriously impact the quality of our lives. And so this is about step 1, making the choice, and then making the commitment. So, are you ready to take responsibility for your own debt and stress-free holiday? Okay. Okay. Commitment is a difficult choice for lots of people. Those of you who have been with me before know that once in a while I like to include a cartoon. I think laughter is important in all of our lives. I know this money and money problems, there's nothing very funny about it. It's a serious topic, but a smile can just lighten what's going on. I do see that we have someone already emailing whether you will receive a copy of the webinar slides. We don't share the slides. We do share the recording. So because you're registered, you will receive that link to the recording and then to the workbooks, and we'll get to that. So commitment. signing on that bottom line. And so this is our debt-free, stress-free holiday commitment pledge. What I really love about it is you complete it when you're not feeling stressed, when you're not in the middle of all kinds of financial challenges. And it is a very proactive tool. It is absolutely in the workbook you're going to receive. But you can really have this tool. You place it, you can see down at the bottom, you place it where you can see it easily and often and refer to it when you need to reconnect to that commitment and to the reasons you chose to make that commitment and to create a debt-free, stress-free holiday this year. So, number one, choice and commitment. And I think a really important part of making the commitment and a way that many of us sabotage our success is that we're afraid that we can't do it. Making the commitment, first that choice, then the commitment, those are very big steps. But unless we believe that we can do this, unless we're committed to doing it, we have to, lost my thought for a minute. We have to believe that we can do this. We can actualize that commitment. We can have a better life, and that we are capable of doing whatever we want. And it really doesn't matter whether you've ever tried doing something like this or whether you're struggling financially in other areas of your lives. We now are here to educate, motivate, and support you in multiple ways, not just through this webinar. So we're moving on now to step 2, and that is to create your spending plan and log. And again, all these tools will be in the workbook you receive. Okay, so let's take a look here at our next interactive poll. A few people have shared some thoughts. Financial wellness means starting with to become aware and then considering options to see those in our best interest. Great. And yes, a positive mentality and faith in oneself is essential. We must visualize our financial success and begin one step at a time. Absolutely, totally right on target. Okay, so let's find that second poll and see what you think. I have to be honest with you, this one surprises me. So, how much money do you think the average American spends at the holiday seasons? Okay, you had to do that, right? Does this question include meals, holidays, events, and not just gifts? Yes. Okay, about 70% of you have voted. I guess some of you are having a problem voting and you're just writing it in. All right, 75%, 80%. Anybody else wants to vote? Wow, some of you are pretty good at this. Okay, I'll count it down. If you want to vote, go ahead. And I'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to close the poll. And I'm going to share it with you. And I wonder if some of you thought that 1,050 was too low. To be honest with you, I thought it was too low. The 23% of you who said $750, the figure that I came up with was actually $749 and I believe 12 cents. But who's counting, right? Interestingly enough, a number of years ago, I did a workshop for a group, and I had read, I think it's probably 8 or 10 years ago, and I think the number that I came up with was, in research, I mean, I didn't make up these numbers, but in research, it was $600 some, which I also thought was very low. And I had everyone in that room write down how much they planned to spend for the holidays. And the people with me took all of those, added them up, and divided them by the number. And it actually came right at the number 600 something that was predicted. So that's what we have. And I just thought that would be interesting to all of you. I will be sharing some, I'm going to close that now. I will be sharing some statistics with you. You can see here some percentages. This is from last year. It was very interesting to me just trying to gather this information. I don't know about all of you, but I've been seeing holiday gifts and materials for months, absolute months, earlier than I think ever before. And so I didn't think it would be quite as challenging to me to gather some statistics for you, just some interesting things like this one to present to you. But only yesterday and today I came up with some new ones because people are absolutely moving in that direction of thinking about and projecting, particularly retailers, projecting holiday sales. So here are the payment methods people use for holiday shopping. I know it isn't the clearest graphic, but, and again, it is from 2011 because we don't have those kinds of data for this year. Someone just asked if this would be for middle-class consumers and those with higher incomes. I would say yes. You know, a lot of this research, particularly in these infographics, do not include any data on who the people are taking, you know, who participate in the various research groups are. I did read, but didn't necessarily think it was something to include today, but I did read that the very wealthy are definitely planning on spending more this year. And in doing this research, it was very interesting. The people putting together these kinds of information the people putting together these kinds of information are retailers. They're looking to help, you know, their retail federations, organizations, associations, trying to put together ways of increasing sales for their members and for the economy. You have to always remember that the only way to improve the economy is to increase spending. And so I often say that what's good for the economy is not good for the consumer. And I'm not here really to provide you with any specific numbers on who's doing what or why and how. I'm here to help you to think about, you know, how you want to spend your money this year and your holiday. So in my research, I definitely read that retail sales are projected to be flat, and then I read that retail sales are projected to soar, and 5%, 10%. There were many, you know. So I really stayed away from any of that for you. But I can tell you that 52% of shoppers say that affordability will be a major consideration in their shopping this year, and that shoppers this season are more price sensitive than ever. And I'm certainly all in favor of that. Consumers are seeking deals. We have become accustomed to all kinds of, you know, local deal offerings from our newspapers and cities and Groupon. And so almost 75% of consumers say they expect to find great deals this holiday season. And clothing is projected to be a top category, with electronics decreasing slightly. But possibly this article is from last week. That may have been before the iPad mini came out. Can't really know that. This one surprised me, that downloadable gifts are skyrocketing. I really don't know how you buy an ebook or music downloadable in movies to give as gifts, but that is expected to increase almost 50% this year. And gift cards. Gift cards are huge. About over 80 million people, shoppers, plan to purchase a gift card this year. And lots of people feel that they're going to get their best deals just a few days before Christmas. So some people are planning on holding out until then. And here's a new term for you. Any of you familiar with the word showcase shopping? I never heard about this term. I never heard this term until doing this research in preparation for the webinar. Okay. We have some people who are helping me out here and really interacting. A couple people say they never heard it either. So let me teach you. Showcase shopping is what people do when they browse items in store and buy online. And 40% of consumers use a showcasing strategy. I wish I could ask you how many of you plan to do your shopping online, and how many of you plan to go to stores. And I did read that, you know, a lot of people do this for a lot of reasons, I'm sure. Some want to be able to see the item before they purchase it, but people tend to feel that they can get a better deal online, or that the store might be out of the item they want, but they're going to definitely be able to get it online. Someone just shared with me that she compares prices on Amazon.com. Okay. Someone just sent something in. I'll share it in a minute. Okay, so this is, our spending log is actually vertical, not horizontal. So this isn't an old one. I just wanted to show you what it looks like, and you will have that in your workbook to help you with your spending this year. So why have a spending log? Well, to help you to be more responsible and accountable to yourself, and to rethink overspending. And we'll do a little bit more with that in the policies and procedures for the holiday that you're to create. So why else? To help, you know, have more and better control of your holiday spending, because what it has is a place where you're continuously deducting the money you've already spent, so that you always know how much you've allotted and how much you have left. And that does give you, you know, a lot more control. And it allows you to know the purchases you've already made and the purchases you still have to make. And so there are a couple of documents in the workbook on this, where you estimate all the people you want to give your gifts to and how much you're going to spend, and then all of your ancillary fees regarding, you know, entertaining, gift wrap, cards, and there are certainly many different ways of doing all of these things, from doing e-cards, which are free, to no cards. And so having a spending log will help you on your follow through. And I have this slide here, but it also could be in step number 6. It's very important to work with your spending log every day, updating and revising it. To use it to validate and reconnect to your efforts, and to connect you to the fact that, you know, there is no such thing as perfect. So it's much more likely that practice makes progress. Forget about perfect. And to help you to remember that debt is toxic and stressful, and it's really a huge negative in all of our lives. Okay, we have some great comments coming in. I think I'm going to go through most of this, and then share those with you and look at the questions we have. So, as follow-through, you want to think about how you'll feel on January 1st if you do create a debt-free, stress-free holiday. What will that feel like? How wonderful. How exciting. And if you don't do it, what will that feel like? Traditionally, I read the statistic, people spend over 40% more at holiday time than they projected. But of course, that's because they don't have all the motivation and support that you're going to have. Additionally, how long do you think, this would have been a good poll actually, how long do you think it takes people to pay off their holiday debt in the coming year? How long? 2 months, 3 months, 4 months? You can share that with me if you like. 6 months? Well, 8 months? 6 months? The whole year? 1 year? 5 to 6 months? Hey, you're all great. Oh, you all have lots of ideas here. I love when you get involved here. I read 6 months. A lot of you were saying 8 to 12, 12 to 18. I would agree with you. I would tend to agree with you. And so I'm so hopeful and excited that, you know, that what we're doing here now is going to assure that you don't have to be paying off any debt come January 1st. Again, just a quick cartoon, hopefully to bring a smile to your face or make you think. I think this cartoon actually demonstrates to me just how I was very moved, impacted by, you know, what I read and learned in preparing this. Actually, I mean, you know, I think it was Bruce Springsteen. No, it wasn't. Who sang the song "The Times They Are Changing"? I mean, people don't go out to sales, not really, except on Black Friday, I think. People, you know, huge numbers of people plan to do their shopping online. I saw that actually one of you said that you do your comparison shopping on Amazon, and I saw that Amazon was hiring 50,000 people for the holidays, and that the delivery services are adding people also. Okay, so now we're at step 3, develop, oh, Bob Dylan who sang it. Thank you very much, a couple of you. Okay, and I do like Bob Dylan. Sorry, I didn't remember that. But times are changing. I'm sure we have as wide an age range on the call as we do professions and people representing different socioeconomic groups. So thank you. So now, develop 5 holiday spending and savings policies. Well, here's this one, this little graphic that shows how much people intend to spend this year compared to last year. That one is current. So a policy is a guiding principle for interacting with the world. In this case, it would determine how you choose to spend and to celebrate the holidays this year. So I decided that the best way to show you what I'm thinking on this was to just give you some examples. So I have 2 slides of examples, and I just realized I'm not sure if I put in something on the spending policies and procedures in the workbook. I will check it after the webinar. If I didn't, I will be sending that to you via our survival emails if you registered for them. So you get this idea here that this is another form of somebody's asking me if this is step 3 or step 4. I do believe it's step 3. It's what it says. I'm hoping I'm right. So regardless of the step, someone did also say that she was going to make personal greeting cards this year. Develop these 5 holiday spending policies and procedures. It's kind of an extension of the commitment, but 5 is a very manageable number, and it's an opportunity for you to really think through what 5 things do you need to do to assure that you will create a debt-free, stress-free holiday season. And number 2, some of you may have heard this, is to plan to wait a certain amount of time before making a purchase. It could be a dollar amount before purchasing something over $50, over $100, over $20, whatever it is, rather than, this is also to help you to reduce any impulse spending. And number 5 here, we know all training says, to avoid any kind of shopping when you're tired or hungry or lonely. And so here are some additional policies and procedures. They have to be things that work and resonate for you. I could, have kept going, certainly, but thought that these were basic enough to give you the idea of creating your own policies and procedures. Yes, I do believe this is number 3. I was checking it on my laptop, everybody. So these are your 5 holiday spending policies and procedures. I would definitely make copies of them, take them with you in your wallet, in your purse, and definitely keep them with you with your debt-free, stress-free workbook materials. And it's just another strong piece of assuring that you stay focused and on track for your holiday, your debt-free, stress-free holiday. Okay, so 6, be informed. Well, I can tell you, after doing, the preparation for this, there's a lot to know. And that was one of the motivators for me to want to create the workbook for everybody and the survival emails. So instead of including tons and tons of information here, I decided, that I'll share a lot of it with you in the workbook and then through the emails. So really important to distinguish between materialism and consumerism. Someone asked if we'll have access to the workbook. Yes, you may have joined us late. You will receive a copy of this recording and a downloadable workbook, and that is our gift to you. And then you can also, if you want, register for our daily emails, survival emails, and I'll get to that in a minute. So the difference between materialism and consumerism. And under consumerism, it goes back to what I said about what's good for the economy really isn't good for the consumer. So just a few things in this overview. Layaway is back. It's back actually pretty big time. There's lots to know about layaway. Each store has its own policies. Some require a deposit, some don't. Some have specific time frames, others don't. If you're doing a lot of shopping online, I found elayaway.com, where you can purchase online using layaway. So I believe this list is accurate, but layaway has started. And if it's helpful to you or to your clients, you absolutely may want to consider it. Christmas Club accounts, they kind of disappeared for a while. I wanted to know a little bit more about them to be able to talk to you about them. They were most popular right after the Depression, but I believe they started in the early 1900s or late 1800s. I didn't read this, but from what I remember, for a long time, they didn't earn any interest. And of course, in today's economy, nothing earns really any interest. But Christmas clubs are back. Obviously, it's too late for this year, but you might want to consider it. They do pay some minimal kind of interest rate, but it is a way of having money taken out every paycheck and having some money to spend for next year's holiday. And most of them are in community banks, from what I read. So here's where I remind you that it is important to be informed and stay informed, and the workbook's going to help you with that, and you know, our survival emails. And I put together some apps for you. I have to admit to not using many apps myself, but again, in putting this all together, it was absolutely very interesting to find the various ways. I mean, you can certainly do a lot of the things, and I'm just leaving this up here if you want to copy them. I have a couple more slides of apps, so I'll keep going with them. You know, many of the hard copy pieces that I put into the workbook, some of you would be probably just as happy or better off or more comfortable using apps for. I mean, you have receipt storage, you have your barcode scanners, you have so many tools available today, and that goes to the times they are changing. Because even last year, I don't think people were. Again, I can't prove this, but I don't think that people were really using apps anywhere near the extent they're using them today. So there's an assortment of apps for you, and I'm not really going to do a lot of talking about Black Friday or Cyber Monday. I have some research here on both of them. They are very important days in the retail world, for sure. So when do you think most Americans do their holiday shopping? And I have a poll. Let me find it. Oop, that's not it. Let me do a different one. When's most? Okay, so I'm going to launch this. So do you think that they start in September or before September? Thanks, Kirk. We have someone very knowledgeable on this call. And I don't know, is this really something, is this true, Kirk, or is it just something you made up? Okay, he called it Sensibility Saturday is what follows Black Friday, and that's when you take back those things you bought on credit. Okay, he made it up. But it's good. I like it. Okay, so 70% of you have voted. Anybody else want to vote? That just shows that I trust you, Kirk. And I'll count it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we'll close it. And I'll show you what you all came up with. So 11% of you thought it was September or before September. And you were very split between November and the first 2 weeks of September. And I do believe, and some of you wrote in that November, someone just wrote in, I would think right after November. Someone else said I put November, but it's really like December 23rd. Wow, not for me, I can tell you. Okay, so I'm going to hide this poll, and I believe it's the next slide that will give you the answer. So 4 in 10 Americans said they would begin holiday shopping before Halloween. So there you see it. But obviously, the largest piece of that, graph and pie, the 39% is November. And for the person who shared with us the December 23rd, you are one of the 3.5%, at least in this particular research. Okay, so moving right along. So this is what the workbook looks like that you will be receiving, and it has all kinds of tools that we're covering, the various financial documents, and some pieces that we're getting to right after number 4 and 5 and 6. So we're doing our daily holiday survival emails to remind you every day, 7 days a week, starting on Monday, to support you with new information we learn. I have a stress test you can take to see where you fall in that. I have ways of reducing stress for you. Here's some of the things. Holiday shopping and saving tips. I'll be telling you how you can eliminate junk mail and catalogs, which helps to reduce and eliminate impulse spending. I'll send you reminders on the 6 steps, suggestions on how to stay committed, new trends that we discover. We'll have anything and everything that will help you to create a debt-free, stress-free holiday. So, step number 5, embrace motivation, support, and self-care. Really, really important pieces of a debt-free, stress-free holiday. And I think my favorite and one of the best is through journal writing, because it is a great stress reducer, and it does give you a time and a space for reflection, and it can help you overcome fears, doubt, conflict, and to just be able to put your thoughts into words and be able to determine, if what you're thinking is accurate. Because unexpressed feelings can increase stress and physical ailments and all kinds of emotional and psychological problems. So journaling is just an excellent tool for step number 5. And here's, just a few more ways that it helps. It helps you to clarify and address complex issues and to bring your thinking into something more concrete and conscious, to cope with interpersonal conflicts and problems. So I did create a journaling page for you, and I surrounded it with all kinds of wonderful motivational and inspirational quotes, so that if you have any problem thinking about what to journal about, you'll have some ideas right there, and you can make as many copies of that as you wanted, rather than just make a big bulky workbook of many copies. I figured I'd let all of you do that. And so another piece of step 5 is to share this process with a friend. It obviously has to be someone you trust, and someone who also wants to create a debt-free, stress-free holiday season. Biggie, very big. Identify your spending triggers in order to avoid them. And I'll be, adding some things in the survival emails about that. And surround yourself with positive, supportive people who always want, who also want to spend less and stress less. and trust yourself to follow through on your commitment. You can pick and choose, if you have to, which of these tools you think you're most likely to use and to practice. You don't have to do all of them, though the more you use, I think, the more successful you'll be. And quite frankly, I have a sheet in the workbook that includes all of these steps that are on these slides right now. So you'll have those available to you to remind yourself to breathe and how to do it and how to relax. These are all important parts of this process. Do less. Well, if you plan ahead and use these tools, you can do less. And prioritize. You can't do everything, and you don't need to do everything. So, again, this is all on, I think, the last sheet in the workbook. And so it is about planning, preparing, being proactive. And here's some more, reminding you about Christmas clubs. Exercise. If you don't have the time, you can do things like parking further away, taking the steps instead of the elevator. They're all very simple things, but they can make a very large difference. It is supposed to be a joyful time, but when we're that stressed out about money and shopping, I read that on average, I think I have that statistic right here, I think people spend 14 hours shopping for the holidays. I would have guessed more, and I'm thinking you might have guessed more too. Let's see. 15 hours. 15 hours. Okay, so we know that financial problems are stressful. We know the holidays are stressful, and the more we eliminate debt and the more prepared we are for what we're going to do for the holidays, the less stressed we have to be. Sleep is critical. It is the only way to replenish ourselves. And if you need help, ask for help. You can deny it and avoid it, but it's not going away. So it's really important. If you need it, get it. Let me see this poll. Okay, so that poll is just not there. So we're going to skip that and go on to the final step so that I can take questions. And the final step is to assess, update, and recommit daily. I do have one more poll. I'm not sure if it would come up, so I'm just going to put it out there now so we can actually have two more polls. But where do most shoppers learn about the best deals? What do you think? From a direct email from the retailer, from the retailer's website, search engines? Family or friends, someone just wrote in a referral. About 60% of you have voted. If you're going to vote, go ahead. And we're at 70%. Because I still have a bunch of slides, and I know where some of you may have to get going. I'll count it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I just thought that these were fun to share with you. Articles. Someone wrote articles. That's interesting. Kirk wrote that a retailer notification is nothing more than bait. Probably the truth. Okay, let me share what you thought. And so for most of you, you look for a referral, and I can certainly agree with that. What I came up with, what I read, was that most people feel they get the best deals from directly from an email from a retailer. That was just for fun. So articles, some of you said. Coupon bloggers, okay. Assess, update, and reinforce daily. I talk about self-assessment being the gift that keeps on giving. We need to be more conscious, connected, and aware of what we're doing with our money in every single way, in every single situation. And so self-assessment. So now you're going to have the tools to plan and to implement. If you assess, and here you see the red arrow, the final one is to report and revise. And for me, I call that updating and reinforcing. And all of this needs to be done on a daily basis. So why assess? Because it's going to keep you connected to what you're doing, and more focused on doing better and better and better. What do we assess? Well, you have your spending log that will show you how much money you've spent and how much money you have left, and you can determine how well you're doing or where you need to make changes. An effective assessment is absolutely depends upon doing this on a daily basis and reinforcing it. Plans in life are both very, very fluid. So is our money. You could say it comes and it goes. I would like it to come and to stay for everybody with us today. And I encourage all of you, to do the assessing, to update your spending log, and to reinforce your commitment on a daily basis. So reinforcement is where and when change really, really, really happens. Yes, choice and commitment, every single piece of this, I think, is an important part of it. But the basics really are that, we have to reinforce this. When we're trying to create change in our lives, we have to be very proactive and very attentive. So practice makes progress. Excellence is not an act, but a habit. It's our habits that determine our lives and our financial circumstances. And this needs to be during the holidays in particular. And that's why we actually, decided to create the daily survival emails to continue to educate, motivate, and support you on a daily basis. So, these are additional tips, to look for different and less expensive ways to demonstrate your feelings, to give yourself time to plan how to spend less and enjoy the holidays more, and build new traditions that cost less but mean more, and to stay and reconnect with the true spirit of the season. And so to finish up, these are your 6 steps. They are in the workbook. And I hope that I will take some questions now if you have any or comments. And you will, I will remind you again. Okay, one last poll. Okay, I'm glad I went to another slide. Okay, how committed are you? And you can be honest, to creating a debt-free, stress-free holiday. Okay, we have a very interesting question here that I want to address. Okay, so we have 70% who voted, and I know some of you have to go. I will go ahead and count this down if you want to vote. Some of you are writing in things. Okay, so I'll close this, and 71% of you voted. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me show you. Okay, thanks everybody. I feel good that 58% of you feel very committed and 14% more than ever. That feels good. And again, you will get the email with the download for the workbook and your ability to, what's the word I want, to opt in for our daily emails. And I want to remind all of you that there is always, always, always hope. And that we will be here to support you. How do I receive CEUs? Send an email to me, Reeta, R-E-E-T-A, at financialsocialwork.com, and we will send you a certificate. So, any more questions? Someone shared this is a great webinar. It is simple and has practical yet powerful tools that I can use as a financial coach. I hope you tell your friends, colleagues, family to watch the recording of the webinar, and that you'll like us on Facebook and get our motivational piece from there every day. This webinar is such an eye-opener. Thank you for the tools and apps. I can't wait to see the book. Any tips for how to tell family and friends that you would like to not exchange gifts? I didn't hear that option. Really a very wonderful and excellent question, something I should probably address in the emails. Yes, I would just be honest. I would say that, oh my goodness, I think I forgot to hide. I think it's important to be honest. You can frame it any way you want. You can say that in this economy, it makes more sense to you not to do gifts. You can be honest and say at this time you really can't afford to do gifts. You can say you took a training that encouraged you not to create debt at the holidays. If you're really struggling with that, you can contact me. Our 800 number is there, and you can email me at Reeta, R-E-E-T-A, at financialsocialwork.com, and I'll be happy to talk you through it. But if you want to do this, believe that you can do it, and be willing to be able to say what you need to say and do what you need to do. And I do believe that's step number 6, to take, or 5, to take care of yourself. Kirk asked me to warn you about cash deals, not to fall for them. How do you feel about myths such as cash options? I was just kidding about the December 23rd shopping. There is always that last-minute gift. Yes, you're so right. Lots of scams out there. Really, you know, that could be one of your policies, to really investigate before you go ahead and buy something. Okay, someone's asking about financial social work. I do want to tell you all that the cost of the certification is going up in January. We've held it for about 7 years, so it is going up. So this year this would be a good time to get it. The webinar is recorded, is my answer to that question, but it's not on a DVD. You can watch it on your computer though. When I work with clients, I often find it hard to motivate them to take the first step to commitment. Thank you for this lecture. Oh, gave me more tools to work with my clients. Only buy for people you really like. Give your time instead of material gifts. Give to charity in the name of a gift recipient. That's it. Oh, that's a fabulous idea. Yes, thank you, Kirk. I got to keep you on these, Kirk. You have wonderful ideas that I just couldn't get everything in here, but that's certainly terrific. Maybe suggest volunteering at a homeless shelter or an animal shelter. Look more at the spirit and less of giving to others less fortunate. Visit older people at an old folks home. Old folks home. Military, USO. Homemade gifts are the best. If someone gets mad, then you should tell them. What is this? If someone gets angry, you should tell you something. I think you mean it should tell you something about them. If someone gets angry that you don't want to exchange gifts, and that's true. That's very true. Many ways to spend less and come away feeling like you have given so much more without hurting your pocketbook, but filling others' hearts with goodwill. So true. Save receipts. Take an envelope with you to keep all receipts and know the return policy. Excellent, excellent. You're a great group. And where you shop, like store credits, no cash back, returns not honored after 30 days. Great graphics, quotes, and examples in the presentation. Thank you, Rita. Yes, and service matters, and sharing of time and talents can bring families and friends closer. Well, you were a great group. I appreciate that you appreciated all the time and effort that went into this. And I hope that you'll share with me, you know, your successes. I may actually do something asking you to do that, because I'm so excited that we can do this for everybody, and definitely use these with your clients, and definitely put the workbook on Pinterest, put it wherever it's going to help people and make a difference. Share it on Twitter and Facebook. For those of you interested in the certification, you have 6 months to complete it. There are 5 workbooks. They're very interactive, introspective. Each of our students makes his or her own journey to a better financial future, with the intention that you will, then our graduates are better role models, more understanding, and able to share the fact that there is always hope, and more knowledgeable. And there is a 2-week open book exam to complete the certification. And it's a really wonderful learning experience, and we have graduates across the country and around the world, and currently it is $349. It has been that since the early 2000s. It will be $499 as of January 1st. If you have more questions about it, again, you can call our 800 number, or you can email me. Thanks for joining me. I had a lot of fun. I probably will be doing a second piece of this for my November webinar, and you will get an invitation. So I look forward to celebrating a more meaningful and money-wise holiday with all of you. Bye now.